Hi everyone, I am back for a second week of going live. I have committed to myself to go live in the group for the rest of the month to help me get familiar with and comfortable with going live. For all of you that don't know me, my name is Tiffany and we'll get started shortly. But while I'm waiting for a few of you to come in, and even if you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay and let me know. I have a question for you guys today. What is the one issue that you struggle with when creating your style or image as an entrepreneur? Make sure you put it down in the comments below. If you don't feel comfortable putting it in the comments below, you can always DM me and I'll be able to help you out from there. So with that, let's get started. So again, my name is Tiffany and I'm an image strategist and I help business coaches and public speakers who lack clarity in their image create one that they've always envisioned for themselves so that she can become the boss that she wants to be. So today I actually want to talk to you about presence and what exactly is it and why it's important. So first, let's get started with what it is. It's a combination of confidence, authority, and grace and being polished. It lets people know that you are the real deal and that without it, you won't attract your ideal client or market or audience. It also lets people know that you are an expert in your area or desire to be one. When having the combination of your presence and figuring that out and also figuring out your style, they can be a very powerful combination when used correctly. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a minute and I want you to think about women who you think have a strong presence and have a strong package altogether. So when I think of them, I think of First Lady Michelle Obama. I think of Condoleezza Rice. I think of Beyonce. I think of, there are many entrepreneurs and speakers and public figures, but that's just to name a few. So let me have a real conversation with you guys today. As a Black woman, I have struggled with my presence. And here's why. As Black women, primarily, we are not able to step into our power and our presence the way that we want to because we're thought of as being, overbearing. We're thought of having an attitude. We're thought of being too strong. We're outspoken. We have so many labels on ourselves, especially because we're in corporate America and we're transitioning as one of the fastest growing segments that is actually transitioning from corporate America into entrepreneurship. So now we have to unpack and unlearn everything that we learned about how to keep us in a box and keeping us in how they want to perceive us, but not how we truly perceive ourselves. It's sometimes how I like to call it as being, we have an ultra ego. So in corporate America, we're hi, how are you, blah, blah, blah. But over here, when we're creating our brands and we're creating our businesses, we can be a little bit more ourselves and a little bit comfortable. So I kind of think it as having an ultra ego, but at some point, both of them will collide at some point. And because of that, it's sometimes very hard to unpack and unlearn all of that. The one thing we have to remember is with what our presence is that it is who we are, and we should be able to step into it without any fears, without anybody or any fears of people thinking that, oh, you're to this or oh, you're to that. It is just who we are. And one of the things I think that probably scares people about it is that they think it's too much to handle, but it's not, or it may be that they wish that they had that same exact presence that we do. But on the flip side, we too are also afraid of our own presence and stepping into it because it's fearful. Because, hello, It fears me, it scares me, and so I am dealing with it. So having platforms such as this enable for me to come into, I'm actually able to practice it and become comfortable with that. So also with presence, as we're shifting from corporate America into the entrepreneur world, there are thousands and millions upon millions of business coaches, fashion stylists. A strong presence in this work is extremely important. It is what will have you stand out from the crowds. People, we are a scroll through, as I like to call it, like a scroll through age, to where if it doesn't catch our attention in a matter of minutes or seconds, we're scrolling on to the next one. Yes, you may have a powerful message in the beginning, maybe in a caption or in your bio, but once they start to scroll through and see, if they don't see you as looking as if you are authority or if you are an expert in your zone of genius, they're going to scroll right by you. And you could have the most amazing product or service, but your presence is what holds you back, and people can't see you. And we've seen it, we all have, especially if when we were out and we were networking and we were in a room, we would see someone walk into the room and they were put together from head to toe, and we all would say, and that would be the person who would say, well, I wonder who that is. I wonder what she does. And the whispers start whispering. Now, that is her presence when she walks into the room. The one thing that you have to remember is with presence is that it speaks before you do. If you don't remember anything else that I ever tell you, you have to know that it will speak before you do. This particular person that walks in the room, it could be possible that they don't know anything. But it's how they walk in the room, it's how they carry themselves, it's how they project their confidence in a way that everybody takes notice. And all it really does is it enhances their style and their image on the outside. Your presence starts on the inside. So it's more than just putting on $1,000 blazer or $100 pair of shoes. None of that matters. And if it does, it only matters for a small amount of time, because your confidence, it is going to eventually catch up and people are actually going to see it. And you have to always remember too that people judge you just by you walking in the room or when you're scrolling. So for me, I always like to call that dressing from the inside out. And what that means is you have to find inside and sit with yourself and ask yourself, how do I want to present myself to my target audience or to my audience? I know we get tired of hearing, you have to know who your target audience is, you have to know who they are, and you have to niche down. It is extremely important, and I can tell you it is finally clicking with me, because you have to also not only know yourself, but you have to know them too, because when you put those two together, you're able to also project who that is. So for me, I want to be, when it comes to styling and imaging, I want to be your Nordstroms, your Neiman Marcus, and your Saks. Well, I'm not going to attract that type of clientele or build that type of brand if I don't figure out how and who I want to be to present myself to the world. So I have to sit with myself and I have to say, okay, this is what I want my brand to be. So how do I make myself become that person? Because if I can't become that person, I'm going to attract your Walmarts, your Targets, your Rosses, your TJ Maxx, and that's not taking away from what you can buy there, because we're not talking about buying anything, we're talking about the perception of that. Because even though everybody shops in Walmart, if you go in and you really take a look at it, you have people that also shop in Neiman Marcus and at Nordstrom's. That's just, clothes, buying everything, because I shop in Walmart from time to time too. But I have to become this person up here. And my target audience or market is not going to even be attracted to me because my presence doesn't match up to it. It matches a Walmart, so that I'll get maybe, the people that don't want to pay my price. So if I have, and I'll use this for example, if I have a $10,000 course, the Walmart people, they're not going to pay my price. But the Neiman's, the Nordstroms, the Bloomingdale's, they're going to do that. Because there is a perception, even though we know, and you're absolutely right, Alicia, even though it's perceived in the value of the stores, and I know people that you would not think would shop in those stores, but they're still also attracted to that more than we are. So we always want to remember that. And one of the things is that even from my own experience, the one thing I struggle with, which is probably why I struggle with trying to create a cohesive brand and trying to create I already know what I want my niche to be, but I have to become that person. And it is very scary to walk into a presence because I feel as a Black woman who is, my presence of that alone is powerful. And we have to all be able to embrace that and accept that about ourselves when we're creating our presence. So I always like to ask people, when you're thinking of it, think of 2 to 3 words that make you want to, of how you want to be perceived. And also think of words and think of your ideal client as, who are they and what do they look at and what do they perceive and how will I be able to attract them? Because once you put that together with your confidence and then you put your style and your image on top of that, that is a very powerful combination for you and can be used, and when used correctly, can be used to your advantage. Because we are visual creatures first and we ask questions second. And we want to be, when we step into a room, we want people to say, oh my goodness, who is that? What do you sell? What do you do? Because then now they're interested in knowing that, because there are a field of image consultants, business coaches, social media experts. So how are you going to stand out? And having your confidence and having your image that go hand in hand should be built along the way as you're building your brand, because it will help you in the long run and it will provide you an edge against everybody else. Because it's like some people say, you have coaches and things, they're out here doing it halfway. And if you do it right, you can do it 10 times as better as them. But because we're afraid to step into our presence and step into who we are and who we want to be and create that person, because it is scary. I'm not going to not say that it isn't. But it's something that we have to do, and it's something that we need to do along the way as we're building our brand and building that, so that when people see us, the first thing they know is, it's like, oh my goodness, I know that's, Tiffany. Like, now, because I see her dressed like that, I see her look like that, I know she can help me along with what I am trying to do. So, with all that being said, I hope that completely made sense today, because part of it seems a little jumbled in my head. But if it didn't make sense to you, be sure to put any questions or comments in the comment box below. If you would like to DM me, please feel free to DM me. And also don't forget that I do have my closet organization guide in the description box for you to download. So to help you begin that, because as I will always say, if you want to change your life, it all starts in your closet, and you have to get rid of things that no longer suit who you are when stepping into your new image of yourself. So with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.